Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another podcast of Behind the Wheel. Your host, Jordan, founder and CEO of GenPhysio, and I have Freya, our team manager and physiotherapist for clocking on 8 years today, on the pod as a guest. Welcome, Freya.
Woohoo, yay, finally.
We've got you on and excited to deep dive into your experiences as a 8-year physio and learn a little bit more about yourself, and hopefully we can get a few gold nuggets out of today, learnings on what it's like being a experienced physio in the community, and have a good laugh and share your journey to our viewers. So physiotherapists like myself, passionate physio, my number plate is literally physio. Tell me about yourself when in your early days, maybe through high school. When did you find out, or when did it come to you that say, hey, this is a career that I'd love to be part of or to undertake?
Funnily enough, I wanted to be a vet my whole life until about year 11. I always wanted a job where I was kind of a helping job, helping people out. And then I think halfway through year 12, I was like, oh, I've got to pick something. And I'd always been a sporty girl, played soccer since I was 4. My uncle utilized a bit of physio because he's got cerebral palsy. And I thought, let's give that a go. And luckily, as I started studying, and I was like, yeah, this is great. This suits me. And then here we are, 11 years later than when I started uni, aging myself.
Now, sports, we'll love sports. And we know physio itself, or a lot of allied health disciplines, particularly now, have many different backgrounds, I guess, environment or work settings that you can be part of, whether it's hospital, community, clinic, residential aged care. When you decided, hey, physiotherapy is a career path that I wanted to undertake outside of the vet desire, was it sports? What attracted you to the world of physio? Where did you think you were going to go down?
I think it was
initially
of like rehab physio that I thought of.
Yep.
Whereas, you see in the movies and it's like the person like learning to walk again in the bars. And I was like, I think that looks pretty cool. I think that's been something I've stuck to a bit too as well over the years, try to do a bit of rehabby stuff, a bit more, community does a lot of that too.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Definitely was never really drawn to the sports world of it though, funnily enough.
Yeah. Now, you're one of the few then physios being sporty like myself as well, and a lot of us, this is sort of the road we undertake, get exposed to sports trainers and then, physios alike and injuries, but you were quite attracted to the more slow stream neuro rehab, or a bit more of a hands-on mobility rehab approach rather than the getting into the sports tape and deep heat and manual therapies that are involved with musculoskeletal.
Yeah, definitely a rare breed. It just never sung to me,
Did you have work experience at all prior to getting into uni, or you were headstrong that this is where I wanted to go, applied, and here we go? Can you tell me a little about your, I guess, process from there, applying straight into uni, bachelor's, master's, and then where was the setting of your first work placement?
Fair enough. I went to Monash. I had a master's degree there. No, that's not right. I had honours. It's too long ago, the memories fade.
Yeah.
And that was a great experience, really great university, at least back then it was, to do physio. 4-year course. And then I came out the other side, had a little bit of delay in my graduation just due to some sickness. So I was just like, I want to get my foot in the door, just want a job. So went into aged care straight away and found that was like a really great transition for new grad role. It was simple, perhaps a little too simple sometimes. And then I think from there, community just seemed like the next step. Yeah. But I'll do this for a bit and then maybe I'll go apply for the hospitals or something else. And then just never wanted to leave.
Great. Well, your journey is very similar to mine. So I started out in aged care, residential aged care, working under the ACFI scheme. And for those who don't know, it's very different to community or any sort of private practice or even hospital, that you're working under a very limited scope of funding and limited scope as a clinician on what you can and can't do to help your clients. So that's kind of dead and gone, and it's on to a different funding type, and not really a world that we play in all too much. But it is a great, and I agree with you, new graduate year, getting that experience, hands-on, building up your confidence. It had its values, although community, I agree with you, is that natural next progression if you're really wanting to stay in a similar environment, but then use a bigger range of skills and be a more well-rounded physiotherapist or allied health professional.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
so community. So, in community now, you've been in community for multiple years, the last or two plus with us. And how is that accurate? I haven't checked the
Yeah,
employment
so
records, but going on memory.
finally I moved in community right in the start of 2020,
Yeah.
which was a disaster. We weren't prepared for it, and I
Hmm.
didn't end up getting to do too much until later in the year. But then, the year after that, we knew it a bit more. So I had another year and a half in Melbourne doing it, then decided to make the switch up to sunny Queensland, sick of cold weather. And yeah, then just a couple of different jobs here until I found GenPhysio a little bit down the track. I was like, yeah, like these guys are cool.
We like to think we're pretty cool, I have to admit. We try. Fantastic. Okay. So community branching on with us. What are your favorite aspects of community? What do you feel is an advantage or perhaps like a pique your interest in community compared to your aged care setting in the early days? What do you feel that you can do more or different, or what drives you to be a passionate now in a leadership role here at GenPhysio, but a passionate clinician and leader? What are the aspects of community that engage you?
Where do I start? Like, that's the thing. First one is, I guess, like the flexibility of the diary a little bit. I like being
Mhm.
able to control my diary. I'm not stuck in a practice somewhere just seeing people from 8 to 5. Uh, I can schedule it how I like it, so I'm not having too many early mornings, and I'll work hard through the rest of the day. I like that you've got a lot more options in community. You might see someone at home and they want to try something different. They might want to just stay at home. You don't know. You might be trying something that's not working, and you've got different places you can go, like the pool where I was just about an hour ago.
Mm. Yeah.
You could take them to the gym.
Still drying off as well, guys. If you, for the ones listening in,
Yeah,
just
like
getting out of a hydro session.
yeah, take them, different places, and then I guess you get to work with them in their home environment too to see what's the challenge at home. And I can see it in person. I can see, all right, well, how about we try this?
So a bit of a recap there, the flexibility of your day to day and having control in your diary, and also the added benefit of not being in four walls and being out in the open, change of scenery, but not just with different clients, maybe with the one client, working with them at the home, whether it's at the local pool, hydro center, gym, park, whatever you've got around you. That's I guess, the added broadness that we have I guess, as our toolkit as clinicians in the community, which is a huge advantage for client care as well, which is great. And you mentioned about working with clients within the home and, working in with the settings that they have and seeing their environments. Do you feel that is a large advantage as a physiotherapist than being in a clinic?
Yeah, I reckon, especially if you've got someone where, if you're seeing them in a clinic and then you're giving them that program to do at home 6 days a week. But then if you don't know what their home looks like, that might not be options. When you're at home, you can be like, okay, you got to do this exercise here. We're going to use this cushion for this activity. We'll use those steps out the back to do this one. Kind of helps give you a good plan when you've got like their environment to see. Plus,
Yeah,
they're
I agree. Yeah, well, they trust you. You're in their own home, so there has to be a level of trust and comfort there. But then also prescribing an exercise program and being in their home environment, you're more likely to get adherence and compliance, I guess, to the program because you're working with things that they can relate to, or even, I guess, trialing different exercises in their home.
Yeah.
It's harder to forget, I guess, and you hope they don't forget, but our clients do from time to time, more than we like, on what they need to do. But if you're practicing it then and there in their home setting, there is that large advantage for the client too, I guess, with the adherence and I guess results follow. So client stories. So being in the community for quite a few years now, post 2020, so 5+ years, been in and out of COVID and enjoying stability that we have now. Fingers crossed, no more pandemics. What would be your, I guess, biggest client challenge? Starting with that, what would be a moment where something just out of the blue happened, you didn't predict, or something you had to navigate around? Is there anything that you can recall that maybe a new graduate or a clinician who hasn't worked in community could get exposure on what to do and how you navigated it?
Oh, it's a tough one. So it almost feels like a job interview now.
You'll get graded after this.
I can't say I've got any like number one big stories. Probably do, but they get replaced by other stories over the years. I'd say the big kind of issue you're likely to come across is when you're working with people that might have like intellectual disabilities and such, and you can't be like, do 10 push-ups against the wall there. They don't know what you mean. They won't copy you. And it's I guess the challenge is then like, how do I get these people to do some exercise? How do I get them to do things that are going to be beneficial, what I need them to do? And I guess that's kind of comes in the challenge of it. But, again, the other side of that is like the things I've learned in this time is that you're not going to be able to just tell them to do something. You got to find different ways to like crack every person, and everyone's got a way where I reckon you can get them onto things, but it's just figuring out the trick. Like, I've got a guy I've worked with for nearly 2 years, and I've only just got him to do stands up and down in a chair. And it just took practice and different motivators and for him to get to know me, but we got there. Or it might be a young kid and she's motivated most by big hugs. So she wants a big hug. I was like, okay, well, you got to jump over that obstacle. And then you get one. And then we'll do it again and again and again.
A little bit of a reward for doing the work as well, but making it fun.
Yeah, same. That's the challenge, is just trying to realize that you're not going to be able to have an instant solution for every person as well. Some things take time.
Of course. And I'm just thinking that pediatrics was not a strong suit of mine as a practicing physio. And so I'm just thinking of the challenges that you would have with an adult or an adolescent who has intellectual disabilities and challenges, to where you're working with a bigger person who's still not able to comprehend as a child, and you have to, but the benefit that they do get is huge. But how do you cross that bridge when they don't understand?
Yeah.
And so you spoke about, I like that one, particularly more your younger clients, is the hug, and that was her motivator, and that was something that felt perhaps built trust and engagement with you to then wanting to work with you and do the work, even though you don't want it to seem like work. Are there anything else that you've used as a bag of tricks, I guess, for a client who's difficulty in comprehension and understanding on what they need to do and the why, and anything else you've tried other than the hugs?
Yeah, there's always a couple. They vary person to person. A trick sometimes I use if I'm trying to help someone in that kind of situation with like their arm strength, hands grip, is putting dumbbells on their laps while they're sitting, and then putting the table in front, and then just make them pick it up and put it on the table, and we'll just do that. And it is great. I've got this one guy I do it with, and it's like the best trick I've ever come up with him.
So this is a Freya copyright special here.
Yeah.
Patent.
This is my specialty. Would recommend. I use it a lot now.
Right.
Once I discovered it, I was like, this works quite well. But
Right.
yeah, there's a few like that. What else have I got?
Anything else that you
Taking
find?
people for a walk. Sometimes people like that, they often go for walks. So if you get them outside and then you're like, oh, we got to step down the curb here to cross the road. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Back up onto the sidewalk. So we're getting in a little bit of
That's a
step
good one.
practice there and everything.
So incidental sort of exercise, well, incidental for them,
Yeah.
purpose driven for you.
Bit of a trick. Yeah.
You have to be You have to use a bag of tricks sometimes to get the outcomes, but as long as the client is safe and it's good for them, they're happy to go along. There's definitely those, for me, I worked with a lot of clients with early onset or dementia on even a private basis in early days at GenPhysio, and that was a super challenge. One time I remember myself being in a hydrotherapy pool, and the family was really pushing for hydrotherapy, and they just wouldn't listen. And there was a moment of, I should not have allowed this. It worked well on land, but safety wise, like this is, you have to be really careful, I guess, and what environments and settings you are when they're not listening or wanting to listen. So,
Yeah, I had a
yeah.
hydro one for about a year and a half as well with a kind of similar condition. And just
Mhm.
like, I couldn't crack her in the water. Like, she's
Yeah.
just, there was like kids doing learn to swim and she would just gravitate to them. And I was like, no, just come over here. And
Yeah.
just all I had to do was get her walking in the pool
Yeah.
because she just was wheelchair on land. And it was like,
Okay.
just
Well,
had
that's
to
a,
keep her walking.
yeah.
And I could never get her attention until one day I just brought in these toys, which are like these like pulley, like stick kind of things, and loved them. And so I would just like flick them around and she'd go and chase them. And I was like, yes, miracles.
Okay. So you're having to, yeah, it's almost like put that, I guess, pediatric sort of hat on. How do we make this fun and a game to
Yeah.
get the result that we need? And okay, so that's a win. So you got to think on your feet, right? We know that's with our clients. We're working with different ages, backgrounds, diagnoses, and different challengings, which makes it challenging, but also the best part of what we do. I guess when we talk about best parts, a client win story is a time where we've talked about some wins here and overcoming challenging clients and with comprehension and following instruction, which is a huge challenge in its own right.
Hmm.
These sports musk people wouldn't understand what we're talking about. But what about a client win story? Something that you had a really, might have been over a period of time or in a session. Is there anything that you can recall?
Could be heaps, be heaps. I'd say the best ones are the ones that haven't walked in a while, and then you get the first steps in
Mm,
again. And they're like, "This is the first time I've walked in 2 years," and you're like, "Wow!" Like like they're happy, you're happy. You just like that's the good feeling that kind of just makes you go,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, I do like this."
Spoken from a true community clinician and physio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're the best. Any walking aids with that client? Did you trial? Was a forearm support frame, wheelie walker?
I've got literally two at the moment that are about the same situation. One's been a year and one's been a year and a half. And we've
Yeah,
just started walking them just before
great.
Christmas. 4-wheel walkers for both of them. Again, it's all I have.
Yeah,
So
it's
we're
hard in
adapting
a,
community-wise
yeah,
to
community
do
is difficult.
brake training with it. Although there's some dodgy walkers that, those brakes are always on or always off. But
True.
yeah, uh, just the walkers now, just, started. We get them standing up and then we get them marching. And they're like, all right, let's take a few steps forward.
It's a progression.
That's it.
Yeah, I really liked the at the kitchen on the bench and have like a chair or just behind, and it'd almost be a step forward and back, and you just don't want to go too far away from the chair. You're almost like using one leg to kind of bring it with you. you
Yeah,
you
exactly.
get you use a few different tricks. So my favorite was just standing up and sidestepping because at least I could easily kind of walk right next to them. But you find your different ways. I know in aged care or hospital they have all the advanced tools and equipment, and it does make life easier. But in community, you got to think on your feet, and every case is a little bit different.
That's it, yeah. Make do with what we've got.
Absolutely, absolutely. So wins, challenges. Talked about your sort of your history coming through with study and into the world of physio. Personal. Is there anything that you'd like to share that we don't know about you? Is there a hobby, a hidden talent? What do you like to do as a community physio, sporty or was? I'm sure you still are. You tell me,
Yeah,
sure
trying to
you're
think
happy to
of what's
share. What do you get up to outside of
okay.
your 8 to 5?
Um, I practice what I preach. I tell my clients when I'm working
Yeah,
them hard and they're calling me, in the names like, "Oh, you butcher."
yeah,
So don't worry,
they're
I'll
the
do the same
oldies.
to myself. So I do like to hit the gym most days of the week just to get in my own training. I play soccer still. Just had to find a new club now that I've moved down the coast. Go to Palm Beach this year, close to home.
Mm,
We like that.
yeah, good
What
clubs.
else? I don't have like really too much else going on sometimes. I love a trivia night.
Trivia night, yes.
For the last 2 years, I used to go to a trivia night every Wednesday with friends. It was great
Yeah.
fun. I
They
even,
have them down here.
yeah,
Just
I'll
got it on
find
the
it.
Gold Coast.
We actually did musical bingo last night down in
Mm,
Coolangatta.
okay.
It was fun. I think Mum had the most fun. She was singing and dancing the whole night.
Wow. Okay.
Um, I've got a beautiful dog called Honey, and she's a Staffy Cross Ridgeback. And
Oh, Ridgeback. Wow, I had a Ridgeback growing up.
oh,
They're big dogs.
yeah, well, she's a little smaller than a Ridgie just because of the half
Yes.
Staffy part of her. Most people are not getting married this year, and I think that's pretty exciting. So I got to shout that out, especially in
Yeah.
case my fiance watches this, and if she's not mentioned it, might get in trouble.
Any any location that you locked in a venue and
Yeah, yeah, locked in a venue a year ago.
it's
So
about right.
just
So
in
yeah,
the
18-month wait.
lands we'll be going.
Beautiful.
And then an interesting fact a lot of people don't know is I don't like potato, and a lot of
Okay,
people
so
have grief with that.
wow. Stay away from the potatoes. Or don't bring them near Freya.
Now, well, here's the perk. If we are out at a meal and I get a burger and it comes with chips every single time, then you get my chip.
That's a huge win. Love
I
the
know,
French
right?
fries. That's my little downfall when it comes to healthy eating. So great to get to know you on a personal sense, Freya, and very interesting. I love Jim yourself, and just how do you work that into your schedule and your day to day? You know, you're busy managing and leading a team. You've got a solid caseload. And been very busy with loyal clients, and I know you're working that change has recently moved from Brisbane to Gold Coast, and we're able to still transition with us here at GenPhysio and settling you in. So we're in that transition phase. But how do you manage your day to day? What would a typical day be for you when you
Uh,
wake up in the morning and
Morning is I've got the dog alarm that wakes me up for breakfast. That's very reliable. It's just a bit of admin through the morning, and then I'm out
Mhm.
seeing people through to the afternoon. And then as soon as I finish work, I'm off to the gym. Grab my pre-workout. I might have like my bag in the car with
Yeah,
me. I'll go straight
yeah,
there. And
yeah,
then that's just like my separation from like work and personal life, just helps
yeah,
like
good.
put
So you
the
go after.
phones off. Yeah. Might even finish some notes from the day while I'm there.
Okay.
But yeah, as that's always been the best way. I've done that for years and years now.
Okay. Yeah,
And then
nice.
it's
Okay.
home and dinner and maybe soccer training.
So keep him busy. That's what you want. And I
Yeah.
like how you've got that separation as well. You need that.
Oh
Gym is
yeah.
great for that or any exercise.
It is most important.
Now, coming up towards the end here, and I want to ask my quick fire round, which is short questions all to do with community, being in the car and behind the wheel.
Okay.
So we'll kick off with that. It's a couple minutes. Your go-to lunch on the road. What would be your favorite go?
Actually hate having lunch on the road, but I will bring
Oh,
snacks
wow.
with me. So, have like an apple and a protein bar and some other little stuff through the day.
The protein bars, they get you through.
Yeah, they'll do the
They're
trick.
good. They do the trick. Okay, so good that you're not no fast food or Mexican, no
I try and stay
Zambreros.
away from it. It's
Yeah,
too tempting.
smart move.
You drive
It
past a lot
is.
of them on the road and you go, "Oh, that would be really yummy."
Well, the protein bar should keep you. Yeah, got that in the back pocket. They'll keep you going.
I should.
Coffee order. Are you a
Uh,
coffee person? You said pre-workout. Do you hit it in the morning and then get the pre-workout in the afternoon? I don't know how you sleep, but is there a coffee order that you
I
tend to go to?
have never liked coffee. I don't even drink tea or hot chocolate. So
Wow.
water all day, pre-workout in
Mhm.
the afternoon, protein shake at night.
Health first. You said practice what you preach. You
Well,
heard
it's
it
a
here,
bit different
guys.
on a weekend, but that's a different story.
Monday to Friday is the main. The weekend you can let that slide a bit. Favorite playlist or podcast while on the road?
I love a good, bit nerdy, like a Dungeons and Dragons type, but comedy podcast. There's a really good one
Wow.
called Dungeons and Daddies. It's great for anybody's at all interested. You don't have to know about Dungeons and Dragons to listen to it. It's just funny.
Okay. So Dungeon and Daddies.
Dungeons and Daddies, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's either that or it'll be RuPaul's Drag Race podcast.
Wow. Okay. So a bit more of a podcast between clients seems to
Yeah,
keep you ticking over,
keeps
keeps
it a
you,
bit more interesting. Bit of music if I'm starting to feel a bit tired, pump me back
yeah.
up again.
Yeah. So get out the techno. What are we? House music of 2025 playlist. Where are you at with the pump
It
up?
depends where we're at. Probably mostly like pop, bit of
Yeah.
techno or
Katy
EDM.
Perry.
Yeah. Not as much.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, you have to mix it up, right? When you bit of
Hmm.
music sometimes is clear the mind. And is there a phrase that you find you say quite often when you're in the car or on the job? Is there a phrase you catch yourself saying a lot?
Oh yeah. When I'm with people, movement is medicine. The more you
Mm,
do it, the more you get out of it. And
it's a good
just
one.
have a rest and we'll do that again.
Love that. It's true. Spoken from a true physio.
Hmm.
And dream holiday destination road trip though.
Road trip.
Behind the wheel, it's all about community here, but road tripping.
I mean, would love to do a whole Aussie road trip. But I mean, like, oh, tempting. A bit of like Scandinavia would be lovely. Other side of it.
Wow. You need like a four-wheel driver with some chains
Oh
if
yeah.
there's ice or snow, cold.
Just get on like a yak or something over there.
That's it. You got the dog sleds, you got the yaks.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
nice. And to close us out, what's one tip you'd give someone starting as a physiotherapist in the community or for a new graduate coming into community? What would be your biggest tip as a physio and as a leader and an experienced clinician, helping them adjust or adapt?
My two tips are streamline your diary as soon as you can. Make it as efficient as possible. Thank me later. The other one is don't expect to have all the answers. You're not going to go out
Yeah,
and solve, someone who's been living like that for 20 years in a day. You just got to go out and tackle like one little goal at a time.
yeah, I love that.
That's it.
Yeah, two great tips there. Scheduling is that's the element that you don't have to think about when you're in hospital or brick and mortar clinic settings as such. But with us, you live and die by your diary and schedule, and that's to
Hmm.
take away that mental energy and effort getting it set up right and monitor it, and it'll make things flow a lot easier. So, yeah, great tips. Freya, it was great to have you on the podcast today. I feel like we definitely have a few gold nuggets here, and whether they're new graduates looking to come into the community, whether it's here at GenPhysio or anywhere else, I hope that they got some really good insights out of today, and we got to know you better as a valued team member here at GenPhysio, and appreciate you sharing your insights.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for having me. It's a bit of fun. I'm sure everyone will see me around.
Sounds good. You heard it here, guys. You'll see her around Gold Coast, Palm Beach, walking the dog at Tullabudgery or Creek, is it? Currumbin Creek. Maybe keep an eye out.
That's it.
Sounds good. All right, guys, we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now, and we'll speak to you next time. Bye.
Bye.